Hello everyone! This is going to be a bit of a different video because we are going to be renovating a build that I have made over a year ago. And I only recently shared it because even if I built this so very long ago and I did like the outside, the layout is a bit of a mess. So I didn't think that this was something that was worth sharing for a while, but when I edited the video and everything, I decided that I did actually really like it and that I wanted to renovate it using mostly the same packs that I had used originally, so these are those packs. And I'm actually going to be using also the Romantic Garden Stuff pack, which I didn't have back then, but it was free for a while, so I decided that it was fine to use, especially since it matched the vibe of the house perfectly, so yeah. And because I thought that the landscaping would benefit from us having that pack available. Anyway, I wanted to keep it limited to that, and this is what this place looks like on the outside. This is the backyard. It has like this tiny garden area. I'm not super happy with it, but I think it's cute. I am going to be renovating it so that it's a bit nicer, and I also needed to make a correction there, so yeah. I really wanted this to look like it was an older house, but I also wanted it to have this like modern sunroom space. So yeah, that's something that I wanted this place to have. So now I am using these Romantic Garden fans and I'm changing out the mailbox just because I thought that it looked better. And now we're going to go on a little tour. The entryway is fine. I like that there's books, but this as the living room is a bit small, I think, especially for a house that looks this fancy, and the only bathroom the house has, so bit weird. This is the dining room. It's not large, and you will notice that there's many wild wallpapers in here. I had just gotten the Decorative Max kit when I built this, and I was just very excited to use it everywhere, and mostly the furniture is white, so that it wouldn't be like too heavy. It's just the wallpapers were heavy enough. But this is the landing. There's like a desk space and an art studio space, and then this is the second bedroom. It's very small, it's very green, and then there's the primary bedroom, which is very white and blue. I actually struggled when I first built this because I didn't have enough space originally for a dresser. I had to sort of make that little space a bit larger, and there is a balcony here. So that's the layout, and we are going to make sure that it makes a lot more sense. So I originally filmed this as a real-time video. I had the whole narration and everything, but that audio had problems, so I am just using this as another speed build, so yeah, maybe one day I will manage to finally have a real-time video that isn't a 10-minute challenge, but anyway. We're going to be making sure that these windows look better, and we're going to be changing these curtains because they looked very weird, and we're using the very lovely curtains from Paranormal, and we are going to make sure that they look okay. I do end up having to change that later slightly, but just because I adjusted some things, and I also wanted to have these doors from Seasons because they are whiter than the other doors that I was using. They are from Get Together and they really match this vibe, but they looked a bit too dark. So since everything is so white, I felt that they didn't make a lot of sense. I also decided to shrink this bathroom because it was a bit weird for me to have the bathtub downstairs and have no bathroom upstairs. And I ended up having like this interesting sort of a small hallway that has a bit of a pantry space. I don't know why. I thought that it made some sense because that corner in the kitchen wasn't very useful, so even if this isn't entirely ideal, I still think it's better. And it also allowed me to have some more space for the stairs. At some point I am going to make this house a bit larger. I just make it a bit deeper. So in a sense, these things don't really, they don't change too much. The front of the house looks pretty much the same. And I had space to do that, so I decided that it was the best. But anyway, I remember it took me a very long time to figure out these stairs, and I got out a lot of that process because it was really quite ridiculous. So I think this is the way that it ends up being, and so you can see that there's this very long hallway, and these stairs are now a bit different. So there's a bit more space on that entryway. And at one point I was thinking about making that the living room, but that does change a bit. I ended up having to open up the dining room space so that I would have more room to have like a formal living and dining room. And I also really wanted to have a fireplace in here. I thought that it was very weird that I didn't have one originally, since I think I did have a fireplace up on the roof. And here is when I decided that there is definitely not enough space for everything that I wanted to change in this house, so I decided to scoot it a bit forward, and I'm just moving the landscaping around and making this be a bit longer, and this was what allowed me to actually have a bathroom up on the second floor. But yeah, I don't really change anything visually on the front of the house, at least not at this time. I think that one of the most interesting things that I did was how I decided to solve this little like roof space with some greenery. I don't know if that's realistic or usual. I was trying to go for a bit of an English look, which I've never been to England, so what do I know? But I did look at some pictures and everything for inspiration and such. I also made the sunroom a bit bigger, and now I am just changing out the landscaping so that it looks a bit more natural, I suppose. And I moved those windows as I mentioned that I would. I cut out that process because it was the same thing that I had done before. But anyway, now I have opened up this space, and I thought about having the dining room in this area for a bit, but I decided that it wouldn't be necessary, and I really wanted to have that bookcase in its original position, so I just decided that it wasn't going to work. So I shrank the kitchen slightly, and I just made sure that I would have enough space for the couches and the dining room table. And I had enough space for all of the color that I had here originally, so I thought that it wasn't a problem at all. And it's still a fully functional kitchen. Oh, and by the way, if you would want to download this, it's going to be on the gallery. I do have the original version of this in case you would want it for some reason. But I'm also going to be adding this second improved version. But this is what I meant when I said that this was going to be like a pantry. I ended up having this very strange little bump out. I would have made the kitchen a bit larger, but the door was a bit in the way, and I still wanted to have like that hallway separated for some reason. I don't really remember what the reasoning behind that was actually. Maybe I could have had it open, and it wouldn't have made a difference. It's funny the things that you think about when you are doing voiceovers and you realize that you could have done something different and it probably would have been good. So yeah. But anyway, I decided to get rid of that fence that I had in here and instead have a half wall with another wallpaper from Discover University. I think it's not ideal, it's not perfect, but I think that it does look a bit better, especially since I thought that fence was a bit too short and it looked a bit like unsafe. And then I just added some planters, and I also decided to change out the stones in that space. In front of the gate, I added this like stone rock from Get Together, which I thought made a bit more sense, and it looks a bit more like it's like self-contained and not just like the pattern isn't right with the flooring. But yeah, here I was trying to have a love seat in front of that fireplace and to sort of close off this area slightly just so that it would look a bit older. And I am finishing this sitting area here. I really liked this layout. It's not one that I had done ever before, I think. This is a very skinny space. If my voice is a little weird, it's because I'm still slightly sick, but I really wanted to record something. It has been too long since I had recorded anything. And I missed it, so yeah. But anyway, I decided to have a chair instead of a love seat here in front of that fireplace, and that made more sense. It didn't block that area, and I would have added a piano, but I was still trying to only use those bags that I had mentioned, so I added a keyboard, and now we are copying and pasting that bathroom that we had downstairs, and adding that bathtub we had here originally, and just adding normal bathroom clutter. And I was very happy that I was able to add a bathroom in that space, especially since now that the house was a bit larger, I had room for everything that I had originally added into this space. I did end up getting rid of that little side table, but I was able to add the typewriter on this bedroom, and I also wanted to have more of a wardrobe space in here. I always think that these dressers are, I mean, they're nice, but I always think that only having one of these dressers is not enough for a seam or for two seams. So yeah, I decided to add an extra one, and it still looks like it's not enough storage, but I'm trying to live with that. I'm trying to not be so intense about realism. But anyway, I decided to change the bed for one from Discover University. I really like that bed. I realized that I use it a lot. I didn't think I would when I first got Discover University, but I do. And we're just moving some stuff around, making sure that there's enough space for all of these desks and for the doors to work. And I think I ended up having a couch up here, the couch that I had here originally, in this like stair landing hallway kind of thing. Yeah, this one from Get Together. Although it looks like I didn't keep it there. Oh, because I decided to only have a chair instead, because that looked a bit less bulky. But I think it's going to be it. I'm just going to be changing these. I'm just going to be finishing the sunroom area, just making it look a bit more finished and a bit more like built in, and in a way I think that makes it look a bit more traditional. And this is what the house is going to look like in the end. And I also remembered that I needed a fire alarm in here, so I just added it into the pantry space. And that's going to be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I also hope to see you very soon.